There's a thought that Psalms 90 and 91 was written by Moses at the beginning of the 40 years in the wilderness. It is a thought that Psalms 90 and 91 were written by Moses at the beginning of the 40 years in the wilderness. The wanderings of which are subject of the fourth book of the Psalms. 91 was written, watch this, to comfort the church in the wilderness. Psalms 91 was written to comfort the church in the wilderness. That's critical. Why, Pastor Mike? Because while they're going through a 40-year curse, he gives them a word of comfort in the midst of innovating situations. In other words, Moses is headed into the wilderness, and he speaks this to those who are following them. I pray you can receive this. He warns them that something is coming. Rock City, before we go any further in this message, I just thank God for what my pastor calls a holy heads up. A holy heads up. During our Seek Week, I prophesied that I saw something coming. I can't honestly say I saw this, but you can remember I told us, get our house in order. Begin to seek God like never before. Get your affairs in order. Do what God is calling you to do, because I saw something coming. Analogous to Moses in Psalm 91, he says, we're headed into the wilderness, but I want to give you a word of comfort. And what's the word of comfort? It's right here in verse 1. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. Now, before we even get into the shout, because we can already see where this sermon is going, there is one word that arrested my faculties and caused me to kind of get excited. My spidey senses begin to go off. And I know you're going to say dwells and secret place and Most High. No, it's another word in this sentence that got me excited. He. I love how Moses said that he left that kind of ambiguous. He says he, the individual, every person, not just the Messiah, not just the church leaders, not just the elders, not just the ministers. What I'm about to declare is available for anybody who wants it. That's critical. Moses says, I got elders following me. I got leaders following me. I got seasoned saints following me. I got young people following me. He says, so what I'm about to do is make this promise conditional. He says, he. Now here's the question that I begs asking. Everybody want it, but I want to juxtapose for a second the difference between wanting and willing. The difference between wanting and willing. Want is a desire. Many people want to play a game, want a bigger house, want to be happy, want to be in a relationship. But being willing to do something is more like an ability. You are able to do something, but you might not necessarily want to do something. Make that make sense, Pastor Mike? I want to be blessed, but are you willing to trust God in the midst of trouble? I want a spouse, but are you willing to submit yourself, ladies, and be faithful husbands? I want a promotion, but are you willing to be faithful over a few things so he can make you ruler over many? And here's my first declaration over everybody watching this little sermon of mine. I want to declare that 2020 is the year God is going to bless the willing. Now, you didn't get excited because you don't know what willing means. Willing is when my desires exceed my excuses. Leave that on the screen for a minute. Willing is when my desires exceed my excuses, and I'm ready. Now, only 7 people finna tear your living room up right here to do. Here's a phrase that only 7 of y'all gonna catch. Whatever it takes. Now, I don't know who I'm talking to at home, but in your living room, the reason you somewhat frustrated, because when you are pregnant with possibilities, stagnation keeps you on the fringe. But when you are willing, you're saying, I'm willing to allow my desire to exceed my excuses. I'm finna say this. They're sending kids home right now. There won't be any schools happening at our school. We're dismissing kids, but we're also sending work packets home. Now, here's what's crazy. We're going home, watch this, but the learning doesn't stop. I want to ask somebody watching this something very carefully. How you gonna navigate this storm? That's rich right there. How are you going to navigate this storm? Now, you're going to laugh when I say this. You're going to laugh when I say this. Before we had irrigation systems, in order for crops to grow, they needed rain. Before we had irrigation systems, in order for crops to grow, we needed rain. Somebody got smart and realized every time it rains, I'm going to create a filter system, watch this now, that captures what drops out the sky, holds it till I need it so I can do what I need to do. I don't think you heard what I said right there. Or in other words, since I don't have at my disposal what I readily need, I'm going to learn how to use what I got. I don't know who I'm preaching to in here, but God says this is the season that your desire has to trump your excuses. You want another degree? Get over your excuse. You want to be happy? Get over your excuse. Well, they hurt me in the past. Yes, but what are you going to do? Are you going to make your past a prison, or are you going to make your past at school for you to become what God has called you to be? He says, he who dwells. Now, this is available to everybody. Storms are coming. The wilderness is coming. Hard times are coming. Sickness is coming. Hurt is coming. He says, but I got a promise, regardless of your title. If you want it, watch this. He who dwells. Now, that he dwells. The first thing I want you to put in your notes and type this in for me if you're watching is the power of his presence. The power of his presence. It says, he who dwells. If my grandmother was still alive right there, she would get excited about the power of his presence. Dwell, beautiful Hebrew word, yashab, which means to sit, which means to remain. He who remains in my presence. The word dwell used in this verse actually means to take up permanent residence. That's critical. It means I'm not visiting his presence. Catch this. I'm at home in his presence. I'm not just visiting his presence. I'm at home in his presence. I think our people parenthetical disconnect between me and the screen right here, because I got to separate and differentiate who's watching right now. Many of you, I'm praying for you, and I somewhat feel sorry for you, and I'm concerned about you, because if the only time you worship is when you came to church, you're finna be in a bad place for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But those of you who've been dwelling, you know how to make your room a sanctuary. Now, it's early in the message right here, but if I can't lift my hands in the building, I can type amen from my computer. Because I came to preach to 7 folk who've been dwelling in his presence, that in my car, I can give God glory. In my living room, I can give God glory. Because I know where God is. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I know how to dwell in his presence. Now, this is critical, and I need you to catch this now. This is critical, and I need you to catch this. Dwell means to take up permanent residence. To take up permanent residence. To take up permanent residence. Here's another beautiful definition of dwell. Put this in your notes, please. Hiding place. Maybe somebody watching doesn't have screens or doesn't have the ability to take notes. Type that right there. Type that right there. Type that right there. Hiding place. He who dwells translates to mean hiding place. I'm scared to read Psalms 32:7. It's right there on your screen. For you, Lord, are my hiding place. Help me, God. You protect me from trouble. You, here it is, surround me, help me, God, with songs of victory. Now, here's what's critical. I want you to, I was tripping that the man came by the house about 4 days ago, and he prayed. He said, I got to spray for mosquitoes. The season's changing. They getting ready to come back. I said, that's cool. I said, we got a lot of mosquito repellent. He said, you want to know something interesting? I said, what's that? He said, you do know mosquito repellent don't necessarily repel nothing. I said, no, it blocks mosquitoes from biting me. He said, no, it doesn't. The repellent, watch this, makes the sensory of the mosquito. It hides you from their ability to sense that they need to bite you. It's not that they get on you and then it knocks them off. It makes it what they can't even detect that you in the atmosphere. Now, I'm going to say this, and only 7 of y'all going to catch it, because I've been thinking my whole life when God said he was going to protect me, he was going to block some stuff. But God said, Mike, in certain seasons, I don't block, I hide. I'm in the wrong church. I don't know who I'm preaching to, but I'm grateful for every year God hid me. That it was certain people I wanted, but God hid me, because truth be told, had we connected, it wouldn't have been well. I'm thankful that certain jobs I wanted, God didn't give me. Why? I thought that was rejection. That was really God redirecting me, because he was hiding. He hid me. It means he who dwells. He hides me. He who dwells. Somebody type, somebody shout, dwells. See, I'm so glad that a couple of y'all came to have church with me to bring some energy in this room. But when you leave and when you're watching at home, I want you to dwell. I want you to dwell. Now, there's a new hot word that everybody's saying now, a new hot word that everybody's saying now called social distancing. Social distancing. I've been hearing that a lot. There's a new hot word out called social distancing, but I want to suggest that whenever there's social distancing, it should lead to spiritual intimacy. I want to argue that social distancing should lead to spiritual intimacy. I'm going to see who can catch this and have church with me. What if God is saying, I need y'all to become less closer so we can become closer? Sometimes God pulls you away from them so he can get you closer to him. Now here's a word. Everybody, listen to your pastor right here. Here's a word, 2 words I want you to adopt and take to your heart. Come closer. That's rich right there. Come closer. In this season of your life, I want you to come closer. If you never prayed as much as you should pray, start praying more now. Set your clock 3 times a day. Go back to 11:55, praying every day. Come closer. I want to suggest God wants you to come closer. I'll never forget, we were at the park and my kids were with me and a lady brought a big dog out and the big boys were over there looking at the dog, laughing and playing. Miles wrapped himself around my legs, so much so I kind of had to walk like this. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then it hit me because I didn't see the dog. All of a sudden, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I turn around, it's a big dog right here. Miles knew he couldn't outrun him. I'm in the wrong church. Miles knew he couldn't beat him up. But what he did know is if I come close, the dog gonna have to go through my daddy to get to me. Now, I don't know who's watching this, but I want to declare that whatever sickness, whatever layoff, whatever pain, if you draw now unto God, it's gonna have to go through God. Psalm 16:11, Amplified version, you will show me the path of life. Watch this. And in your presence is a fullness of joy. And at your right hand are pleasures evermore. Somebody say, come closer. Somebody type, come closer. I want you to catch this now. Put this scripture on the screen because I want them to see this. You will show me the path of life. Now that's critical. What is my next move? What am I to do next? How am I supposed to flow? But watch what he says. In your presence, I might have church, is a fullness of joy. And at your right hand, there are pleasures forevermore. Now, I want you to catch this. He says, if you come to my presence, you get joy and pleasure. You get joy, preach Michael, and pleasure. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know it ain't a lot of y'all in here. We're going to have church in here. But when I say this, I just want you to practice your praise break with your fingers right there. Because God says if you come close, you're going to get strength and stuff. I don't think you heard what I said right there. Because the joy of the Lord is my strength, and the strength of the Lord is my joy. He said, but if you come close, I'm not just going to give you strength. He said, but there are pleasures. I'm finna declare something over your life, and we finna have the first ever virtual praise break in Alabama. I want you to type everything you want from God right there. I want you to begin to declare every big thing, every little thing. If you want a job, get in his presence. If you want better housing, get in his presence. If you want more peace, get in his presence. If you want more strength, get in his presence. What God is getting ready to do, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men the great things he has in store for you. I want to suggest, get ready, because there will be glory. After this, there will be favor. After this, there will be strength. After this, there will be promotion. After this, somebody shout, it's coming after this. I feel God in here. In his presence, there is the fullness of joy. That's critical. Fullness of joy. Fullness of joy. I preach about my kids a lot because I love my babies. Last night, I walked down the steps with a vanilla Oreo, right? I had 2 of them, 2 vanilla Oreos. Miles, see my Oreo. He says, Daddy, give me some, okay? So I tried to trick him. He only 3, thought I could trick him. I bit off one of them, so I turned it around and handed it to him. But Miles, like a good Christian, always examines what's put in the hand. See, whenever you don't examine what come in your life, whatever happens is just by chance. But whenever you conduct an investigation, because until you conduct the investigation, you don't know who sent it. Which is why some of the people who came into your life made you sick, because you tasted it before you tested it. Michael, hear me when I say this now. So I handed Miles the cookie that was bit off of, right? Miles looked at the cookie, turned it around, saw that it was bit off. He said, I don't want this one. I said, no, that's the cookie. He said, I don't want this one. I want this one. I said, no, that's Daddy's. Get this one. I don't want this one. I don't want this one. I want that one. It broke. It's something missing, some missing. And then I gave him my full cookie. I took the bit off cookie. God said, in this season, I'm not giving you a piece of joy. Put the scripture on the screen. But in my presence, there is the fullness. Fullness of joy. I want you to catch this now. I need his presence. Moses, I want you to go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. I want you to go over and cross this Jordan. I want you to be what God is calling you to be. I want you to go do what I'm calling you to do. And Moses said, that's all cool in the game. But Genesis 28:15, he says, behold, I am with you, and I will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done, help me God, what I have promised you. Psalms 23:4, even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because thou art with me. In other words, I have his what? Presence. Now I'm tripping. One of my friends just left from over at the Holy Land, and he sent me a picture that blew my mind. Shout out to Dr. Thomas Beavers. He sent me a picture. He said, Mike, the valley of the shadow of death is a real place. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's not a metaphor. He said, I went there. It's so steep in between two mountains that there is never no sunlight in that place. So 24 hours a day, it's dark. And I said, God help me. He said, Mike, when life get dark, long as you got my presence, Michael, I'm there with you. Now I want you to catch this, because not only do we see the power of his presence, I'm going fast, we also see the promise of his protection. The promise of his protection. Make that make sense, PMJ. Look at Psalms 91:2-3. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. This can preach, can't it? He is my God, and I trust him. Watch this. For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you, look at this, from deadly disease. Now, one thing we learned is we don't practice replacement theology. Replacement theology is when you presuppose every time God is talking to Israel, he's talking to you. Now, we do not, the audience of this particular text is Israel, but we see we can make these principles applicable to our everyday life. I believe what he said to them, I can apply to my life. He said, I'm going to protect you from deadly disease. Now, I want to deal deep here for a second. Somebody say protect. Now, here's what's critical. I need you to catch this. So, Pastor, are you saying if I got sick, he didn't protect me? Uh-oh. See, because we can't put everything in a box to say that he protected me because I didn't get sick. But everybody who got sick didn't have protection. I'm finna say something that ain't popular, but it's real. Even folks with favor can get sick. Even Christians can get sick. Now, I want to say this, and I want you to put this in your notes. Protection is relative to the protector. Wow. Protection is relative to the protector. Make that make sense, PMJ. You don't know you cannot define protection because you're not the one protecting. I don't think you heard what I just said right there, okay? I want to give you an example because I'm a pastor's pastor. I want you to catch this. I have one member right now in the past committed a crime, got to court. The judge said, you know what, extenuating circumstances, we're going to throw the case out. He said, Pastor Mike, God protected me. Thus, I had another member who didn't do nothing wrong, but was with some people who robbed the place. And because he was with them, he went to jail. And I realized, he said, God didn't protect me. I said, where are the friends who you were hanging with when you were out? He said, all of them are dead. I said, he protected you. Sometimes he protects you by not letting it touch you. Then sometimes he protects you by letting it touch you, but he keeps you. Because protection, am I preaching to anybody? Protection is not about your convenience. Look at me, church. Protection is not about your convenience. And if we ain't careful, we finna put God in a box. If we're not careful, we finna pull people out of faith. If we're not careful, we're about to set a precedent that we cannot maintain. If we start professing that everybody with favor ain't gonna get sick, what happens when a popular pastor gets corona? What happens when a celebrity pastor gets corona? What happens when a church mother who's been living right her whole life gets corona? Protection is not about your convenience. Pastor Mike, that ain't protection. You want to argue? But Your Honor, before they throw me out the church, I would like to call to the stands one of my first witnesses. Who you calling? Come here, Daniel, who was living right, but still got thrown into the lion's den. Did you protect him? Yes, I didn't let a lion touch him. Watch this. But I still let the lion around him. Come here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were thrown in the fight. See, just because I'm thrown in it, protection doesn't mean I won't be in it. It means it won't have me. Now, I'm gonna have church. This is the part of the service to everybody watching where I would have took out running because that section would have started screaming, that section would have started hollering, that section would have took out running. But since you ain't here, I got to have church by myself. Here is my personal confession statement concerning COVID-19. Here it is, protection by Pastor Mike Jr. Here it is, if I don't catch it, he covered me. If I do catch it, he gonna keep me. If I die from it, I'm with him. I'm going to say it again. If I don't catch it, he covered me. If I do catch it, he going to keep me. If I die from it, I'm with him. Either way, I'm all good. I need somebody who's sitting in your car, sitting in your living room, sitting at your job to just text, he covered me from danger seen and unseen. He covered me from all the naked lies of the enemy. He kept. Protect. He gonna protect you. To everybody in my city who tripping right now, hear me. He gonna protect you. To everybody, I had to pray with someone today whose father was diagnosed with COVID-19. So he's having to fly to another state to be with his daddy, and it's affecting his lungs and his breathing in a real bad way. And I had to tell him, listen, God got it. You got to trust God. See, protection is not just about your convenience. Pastor Mike, I don't believe that. I want to suggest that Jesus says, I'm going to protect you in such a way that I'm going to die so you can live. I want you to catch this. So if I catch it, he covered me. If I don't catch it, he covered me. If I do catch it, he gonna keep me. So what do I want the church doing? This is why I'm telling my church, stop. Listen to your pastor. If you got any honor and respect from me, any type of honor and respect from me, I'm asking everybody under the sound of my voice, stop sharing these silly memes. Stop sharing all these jokes. History is going to record how we acted during this. And what is our job? I heard my pastor say this. It is our job to model what it's like to be in a Christ and be a saint. It's our job to model what it's like. 3 things I need from everybody in my church, everybody watching me, everybody following me. I need you to believe, model, and pray. I'm getting upset now. Believe, model, pray. Believe that God's gonna keep you in perfect peace. If you get sick, believe God is still a healer. I got a brother I know right now who just had to have a kidney surgery, and things probably went a little left, but he's now standing with his hands lifted because God is still a healer. I want to speak by faith. God is still a healer. Yes, he is. Believe that God gonna keep his hand of protection on your life. But number 2, here's what I need you to do. I need you to model. 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 Follow. You better roll with me. Follow. Model. 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 That models. 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 Now notice, models don't talk. They walk. I'm in the wrong church. Models don't talk. They walk. Because it ain't about what come out my mouth. I walk in a way that what's on me, you gonna want for yourself. Somebody say model. Keep praying in the midst of this storm. Keep tithing in the midst of this storm. Keep it. Watch it. You better model it. You better model it. Look at me, church. Let's make the devil out of a lie. People are predicting that the economy is about to crash and churches are going to be closing left and right. We're going to keep on blessing people. Oh, we're going to keep on feeding families who need food. I struck a deal with an organization here, Tracy Hips, Thank You Christian Service Missions. Every student in our school going to be able to get groceries this week if they need it, because we're going to model. This is why your pastor opened up the building and let other pastors come videotape their sermons. Why? It's not just about our church. This isn't a time for us to be trying to get other people members and say, well, he ain't having church, so he ain't got faith. It's our time to model. Somebody say model. Because truth of the matter is, your members need to hear your voice. If you the voice in their life, they need to hear your voice. I'm trying to model unity, not division. Oh, I need you to believe. I need you to model. Well, I said, but I need you praying, church. I need you praying. I hope you can catch this, because the remedy, thank you, Donald Trump. And thank you. I saw Walmart standing there. I saw Target standing there. I saw all those medical professionals standing there. What I didn't see was a saint. What I didn't see was an intercessor, because the Bible makes it very clear when pestilence and disease comes into our life. He said the remedy for tragedy is if my people who are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I would hear from heaven, one translation, and heal the country. We got to pray. We got to pray. Now is the time to pray. Intercessors, I need you praying. I've never done this in the history of our church other than Seek Week, but this week we might stream prayer. We need prayer breaking loose around here. We need to call on the name of the Lord. I gotta go. I'm running out of time, but he literally says, not only I see now that we have proper perspective. I see the power of his presence, but I also see his protection. But last and not least, I see proper perspective. Make that make sense, PMJ. He tells us, do not be afraid of the terrors. I ain't got but 7 minutes. By night. Now, only parents gonna catch this. Terrors by night. Terrors by night. My baby used to have night terrors, okay? Night terrors. McKinley, she would have night terrors that she would just wake up screaming and punching. Her nightmares were so bad. I want to argue with you that if the devil can't get you while you're up, he'll try to torment you while you sleep. He says, listen, whatever's going on in your mind, I'm going to bring peace to it. Now watch this. Nor the arrows by day, verse 6, and do not dread the disease that stalks in darkness, nor the disaster that strikes by midday. He said, don't fear that disease. Hear me when I say this. Don't fear that disease, that dis-ease, that discomfort. Dis-ease, discomfort. Don't fear that discomfort. Why? Put scripture on it. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. That's rich. Self-discipline. Many people, I'm taking some shots, and I know I'm going to take some shots. I know people are already in the comments talking crazy. I can't believe he's not operating in faith. The church shouldn't close down. He should be walking in faith. But I argue with them. If I got licensed doctors, Whitney, who's one of them, who listen to me in theology, I should listen to them concerning biology and anthropology. That if they can listen to me when I tell them what to do with their spirit, I should listen to them when they tell me what to do with my body. And I'm learning now, the problem that we have now is that the devil, fear is a virus. I don't think you heard what I just said. Fear is a virus. And he says, and I want you to catch this, he says, I want you to not have the spirit of fear and timidity. I want to speak faith over fear. This is what I need our church doing. I need you all week posting scriptures. I need you saying positive stuff. I need you speaking life over everybody around you. I need you declaring that God is going to keep us in perfect peace. The truth of the matter is that this disease is fluid, which means moment by moment, second by second, it's shifting and changing. People are having to operate on the fly. Here's a word that you probably don't want to hear. It might get a little worse before it get better. There are other countries where they can't even leave out the house anymore. But I want to declare God is still God. And I will not have the spirit of fear, but of love, watch this, and power. Let's go home. I'm out of time. Psalms 91:7. Thank you, oh Lord. Grandmama, don't do 1,000. Woo. 1,000. 1,000. Keep yourself together, Mike. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not. Yeah, that's my shot. Yeah, I feel God. It shall not approach you. I wanted to shout, but sometimes you got to pull on Eugene Peterson's Message version. And the Message version says, even though others succumb all around, folk dropping like flies right and left, no harm will even graze you. I want to declare. Now, I've been preaching on what? Faith. I've been preaching on faith. Now, I'm going to ask you to give God a faith praise, a futuristic praise. What's that? I may not have it now, but by faith, it won't come near me. I need somebody watching me to just declare it won't come near me. I need you to type, it won't come near me. It won't come near my children. It won't come near my spouse. It won't come near my parents. It won't come near my neighborhood. It won't come near my city. No weapon. 1,000 may fall. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like Shanae. Oh my goodness. I done got all the way to verse 7 and I done left out something in verse 1. Because it said, he who dwells. I talked about dwell. In the secret place, I told you that he hides you. Of the Most High. Ooh, Most High, Elyon. Oh, Lord. Elyon, Most High, yeah. Elham, God, Most High, Elohim, yeah. Elohim, Yahweh, which means whatever is over my head, he's higher than that. Now, I want to declare, if it got a name, I might preach, it got to bow. Thank you, Corona, that has a name. At that name, Jesus. Every knee got to bow and every tongue got to confess. I want to give the computer a nervous breakdown. I want you to type Jesus. I need everybody watching to click the heart right now and type Jesus. Because at that name, cancer got to bow. At that name, diabetes got to bow. At that name, depression got to bow. At that name, sickle cell got to bow. At that name, your haters got to bow. At that name, Corona, come on, got to bow. You ought to shout the name, Jesus. Whatever it is, God, I dare you to type that name. I dare you to type that name. I dare you to type that name. God's keeping me. He's protecting me from danger seen and unseen. I don't know what you're going through, but whatever it is, God will. Yeah. Jesus, 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 Jesus. In Birmingham, Alabama, the #1 trending topic for today needs to be Jesus. I need folk who don't even believe in him to get on Facebook today and see one name, Jesus. One name, Jesus. One name, Jesus. There is a name I love to call. I don't need no church to praise him. I can praise God all by myself. Good evening, y'all. I gotta go. But is there anybody here who can declare what God has for me? Yes. Yes. Good evening, y'all. I gotta get out of here. But I'm so glad trouble don't last. It don't last always. If he did it before, he can do it again. The same God that kept us through the African diaspora, the same God that kept us on the plantations of Mississippi and Georgia, the same God that kept us in the Underground Railroad, the same God that kept us through Jim Crow, the same God that kept us through the bus boycott, the same God that kept us through integration, the same God that kept us when 16th Street was bombed, the same God that kept us through the civil rights movement. Hey, the same God is keeping you right now. High five yourself and say, self, keep your hands clean. Self, I'm sanitized and I'm sanctified and I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. I want to preach, but you sitting at home. So take your imaginary neighbor by one of their hands. Take yourself by one of your hands and shake yourself. You still ain't shook it right. I said shake yourself. Y'all still ain't shook it right. I said shake them and rock them. Rock them and shake them. Shake them and rock them. Rock them and shake them. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your neighbor and say, neighbor, God will take care of you if you hold. He said, look at me, look at me, look at me. 1,000 gonna fall. Type this in. Stay with your pastor. Type this in. He's preserving me. He's preserving me. Now watch what he says. Psalms 91:15. Call me and I answer. If you haven't typed the name Jesus, something wrong with you. If you already typed it, you need to type it 5 more times. Now we played a game growing up. I got to take you back. Called Candyman. And they would say, go in the mirror, say that name and he'll appear. I don't believe in that. But there is a name. Psalms 91:15 says, call me. Jesus. Jesus. He said, call me and I answer. I'll be at your side in bad times. I'll rescue you. And I'm gonna throw you a party. I'm finna have church by myself. He said, I will rescue you. He says, number one, I'm protecting you. I'm preserving you. Now look at Psalms 91:14. He says, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high. Why? I will set him on high. Yeah, I will set him on high. All right, when Miles was a baby, the dog used to come in the house, and lady didn't like the dog around Miles. So here's what I would do. I didn't stop the dog from coming in. I would sit Miles on the couch. Watch this. I didn't get rid of the enemy. I just put Miles in a high place. I'm finna declare this. God, when you ready, you're gonna get rid of this disease. But until you do, put me in a high place. Now watch this. Watch this, verse 15. He says, I'm preserving you. I will be with them in trouble. I'll be with them in trouble. I want you to catch this, because Pastor Hollis said something that was so cold, so cold. He said something that was so cold. He says, I will be with them in trouble. I will be with them in trouble. What does that mean, Pastor Mike? That literally means when you call me, I'm an answer. When you call me, I'm an answer. Oh, Jesus. When you call me, I'm an answer. When you call me, I'm an answer. Next slide. When you call me, I'm an answer, because watch this. I'm not just surrounding you, I'm supporting you. I don't think you heard what I just said. I'm not just surrounding you, I'm supporting you. God says, no. I'm not going to be a number in your phone you call for mess, but can't call for a miracle. You want to know why I love God? Because right now it's telling us to be careful who we put our hands on. I'm going to say this. God says, I'm not just in attendance, I'm promising assistance. Did you catch that? God says, I'm not just promising my attendance, but more importantly, I am promising my assistance. Here's why I love God. They're telling us to practice social distancing. And I agree with that, with the medical professionals are saying that. No holding hands, no laying on the hands, no hugging. If you can help it, no kissing, practice safe distance. Okay, watch this. I've been nasty. I want to free you real quickly. Corona didn't just make me nasty. Now, it's some stuff in your life you've been did that, truth be told, God should have practiced social distancing from you. But God said, with all that mess and disease and sin on you, I still got my hand on you.